You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Next, featuring intimate and in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood's next edition of stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Next.
Welcome to another episode of Black Hollywood Live Next, where you can't feel your face because it's so amazing and you're smiling so hard, right?
You're right.
Yep. I'm Megan Thomas at MegScoop on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And I'm Courtney Tezeno. Keep in touch with me at Teznos on Twitter and Instagram. And use that hashtag BHL Next to keep in touch with us throughout the show.
Yes, we want to hear your comments. We want to know what you think, so make sure you hit that up. And today, of course, we have an amazing guest, as we always do. You've seen her on CBS's NCIS New Orleans every Tuesday, 9/8 Central. Give it up for Shalita Grant.
Hello, love.
Thank you.
You're stunning.
By the way, we need to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday! Okay, happy birthday. Which version do you want?
Give me the soulful one.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Shalita.
Thank you.
What do you want for your birthday?
This.
Aww,
And I got it. I'm so glad to be here, y'all. Thank you for having me.
We're so glad to have you. What's the best birthday you ever had?
Okay, so this one so in general, I like to have experiences for my birthday. So like last year, I jumped out of a plane at 18,000 feet.
No.
Yes. So this year, I gave myself the gift of sight. So I had LASIK on my birthday.
Yes, I love
as a birthday gift to myself.
I
can see. So this is amazing.
Oh, we feel you.
That's so awesome. And then, okay, when you were little, what is the one thing that you wanted for your birthday that you never got?
That's a good question. Oh, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't think there was
kind of
one
erased that
thing.
thing.
Yeah, I think it was so painful that I just made myself forget. I was like, this hurt too bad. Let me put this memory away. Store it up.
Right. So let's get into a little bit of news. Let's
Yes.
talk about some stuff that's going on, and then we'll get all in your business, Shalita.
Okay.
You guys know that Straight Outta Compton came out a couple weeks ago. It did amazingly well, over $100 million at the box office so far.
So proud.
So proud of them. The main star who played Eazy-E is named Jason Mitchell. Be prepared to see him a lot more on the big screen because he just inked a deal with Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele for their new feature film called Keanu. He also is going to be starring opposite Zoe Kravitz in an indie drama, Vincent and Roxy.
Go.
And one more thing, he also is going to be in the new King Kong Skull Island movie as I think the airplane driver, the pilot.
This is some
That is
overflow.
so great.
Right, I'm like, yo.
Yes.
He's
Put more of us on the big screen.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blowing up. Did you see Straight Outta Compton?
It was incredible.
Right.
It was incredible.
Worth the 2 hours.
Totally worth it. So worth it. I'm so proud of them. Yeah, it's great.
I love it. Okay,
All
let's get
right,
into some music.
Let's get into some fresh beats. So The Weeknd has a new song called Tell Your Friends, and I'm liking it. So let's listen to it.
That money is the only thing I'm chasing. And some dope dimes on some coke lines. Give me head all night, go before it
Wait, what?
I just wanna smoke a pound.
You know The Weeknd.
Doing rounds, get some dick, tell your friends about it. Go tell your friends about it. About it. Go tell your friends about it. About it. Go tell them what you know, what you
I like
seen.
it.
I always like his voice. What do you think about this one?
So here's my thing. Give me head all night.
I don't even know what he said.
All I heard was the head.
I think that's what he said. And the thing is, for me, that I just got really confused when the chorus came in. It's like, they don't call it a job for nothing. You know, like, I'm not blowing you all night. And then why would I tell my friends,
about
that
it.
my jaw hurts? Like, I'm not, that's not something that I'm bragging about, you know?
it.
So, I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Don't you love how The Weeknd will say some of the raunchy stuff, but he sings it so nice? You're like,
Yeah,
wait, what?
you're like, I'm gonna let that slide
Right.
because you sound smooth. But brother, come on now, change the lyric. You gave me head. You know what I'm saying? Then I'd be like, oh my God, girl, I can't believe. You know what I'm saying? That's something to tell your friends. Not that I have, stiff jaw and stiff neck
love it.
from last night.
Oh my gosh, Shalita, are you a comedian?
No,
You should be.
You should
No.
You should absolutely.
You and May need to go ahead and do stand up.
Let's go there. Let's go do it.
You know what's doing.
Well, Shalita, let's talk about you.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so you grew up in Virginia.
I grew up in Virginia.
Tell me what it was like, because I don't think that's a place where they have a lot of arts, like a New York or a LA. So tell us what that was like.
No, so Trey Songz is actually from Petersburg, Virginia as well. So I was raised in Baltimore. I was born in Baltimore. I was raised in Virginia. And how I got involved was in the arts was when I was in 8th grade, a governor's school came and were like, hey, we've got this art school, you want to go? And I was like, well, I know everybody at Petersburg High School, so yeah, I want to go to the charter school. So I was like, I can't read music. I'm not like a trained dancer, but maybe I could act. So my mom, the only play she knew was Raisin in the Sun, and that's not a bad play to only know. So she was like, I got an idea. How about instead of a monologue, you do like a whole scene.
Wow.
And you play like everybody in the scene.
That's what I said. Like everybody.
So I did the scene with Mama and Benita when Benita tells Mama that she doesn't believe in God.
Right.
And Mama slaps her and is like,
So you
in my
slapped
house.
yourself?
Yeah, I slapped myself. And I got in. I slapped myself and I got into the school.
Oh my
So I got
gosh.
there and I was like, oh, this is cute, But after a while of being there, I didn't feel challenged. So, you start cutting up. You start, doing the thing. Being a teenager. And so I ended up moving to Baltimore with my dad's family. I moved there when I was 15. And when I got there, I was upset in Virginia. I wasn't like about that life.
Right.
They not messing around. Like they are serious about their criminal activity.
Right.
And when I got there, like stop snitching was like a big thing. Like the shirts and the tape had come out and the hoodies and everything. And I'm like, I will snitch.
Right.
If I see something, I'm telling. And so you mean to tell me that y'all are wearing t-shirts? Like if you snitch,
Right.
you gonna get a stitch.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me find the art school. So
And you went to Baltimore School of
I
Arts.
ended up getting into Baltimore School of the Arts. Donald Hicken. I was way too old for the program. I didn't show up during an audition week, but was like, hey, I've got extenuating circumstances. Do you think that I can get an audition? And so I auditioned, and right there on the spot, he was like, you belong here. So I got there, and I was introduced to Juilliard there because I come in from Virginia, we didn't have that. And I don't have anybody in my family who's in the entertainment business, you know, so I don't have that, that door open for me. And I didn't know what that world was. So after a class, an acting teacher, Richard Pilcher, was like, hey, girl, are you thinking about going to college? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he was like, well, do you want to go into arts? And I was like, maybe. And he was like, maybe you should audition at Juilliard. And I was like, what's that?
Oh my.
And he was like, it's a good school audition.
Right.
So it was my first college audition. And I got in. I got a full scholarship.
Wow.
And
amazing.
I didn't know what happened until maybe a couple weeks after I got there, because I didn't know anything about the school, but I only went because they gave me all the money. So I was like, I'm going to go to that school.
Well, that's a good
It's
school to
good.
get
Right.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like never happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no, it actually does.
Not for a lot of people,
Juilliard,
right.
Juilliard is like big about, we don't want you to not be able to come here
That's
because of
amazing.
money. So they have a wealth of donors and benefactors who want to help young artists reach their
awesome.
goals. So I got there, and then it was like, I'm at Juilliard. Like, this is crazy. I had no idea. Who is that? Oh my God. Who is that? Oh my God. All these
Yeah.
people went here. That's crazy.
Right.
So
What was the most
yeah.
challenging part going to a school like that where everyone's so talented?
I think it was really just not competing, you know? And when we got there, the first sort of sit down meeting was like, hey, like, this is about you. This is you time, you know? So focus on you. Don't be looking over here because that's not part of your training, you know? So when you see people making strides or, you know, whatever, you're like, oh, man, I want to get there. But it's like, no. Take your time, you know, focus on you. And so I think that was probably the most challenging besides the schedule.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we were like 9 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. With an hour guaranteed for lunch and dinner. And that was the only time you were guaranteed. Yeah.
Did you always know you wanted to be an actress?
No, I didn't, actually.
What did you want to be?
I wanted to be everything. So I wanted to be an undercover FBI agent because I watched a lot of television.
Right.
I wanted to be a hairdresser. I wanted to be a secretary because on TV, they always look really fly. I like that sort of office look. That is hot to me. That chic, that line, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of the women that I used to draw, they always had pencil skirts and blazers. Like, I was about that, and like a halter thing in the back. Like, that was everything to me. So fashion designer was not on the list clearly because I was about that one thing.
That one pencil skirt.
But it's funny because when I was at the school, I hit like a rough spot, right? So it was third year. We're working on Shakespeare. We're doing Romeo and Juliet. I could not make this scene work, and I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna quit. And I was like, well, what are the other things I wanted to do? And I named those 3 things. And I was like, you know what would be really fly is the undercover FBI agent. So I went to the computer lab because I was like, forget this school. Let me find out how to do this thing, and I'm gonna do it. So I looked online. And the one area that I could have come in under, you definitely needed a college degree. So I was like, damn it, I need it. I need to be here. I gotta fucking finish. So I did, and, you know, whatever. But yeah.
Wow.
But at least you kind of, sort of, still get to stay in the FBI realm as an ATF agent.
Yes.
On NCIS,
Yes.
New Orleans.
Yes, going undercover.
Yes, let's talk about that. So when you found out about this role and you auditioned, what was your first thought?
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna try to kill this one, you know, because I had, before this job, I had moved out here to LA like a year. It was like a year and like a couple months, and in 2013, I was nominated for a Tony back in New York City. So I was like, hey, feeling myself, toast of the town. I'm going to go out to LA, and it's going to be amazing. I'm going to blow up.
Right.
And I got there, and they were like, no, you're not, girl. You are number 65. And
Right.
I'm like, what? So I went on something like 60 different auditions, and, you know, I tested like 5 times, but I didn't book anything. And then I ran out of money. And then it was like, this is real. Like, all right, what do I do? I got to support myself. So taught myself how to bartend on YouTube. And I got me a little janky job. And then I got fired from that job because I really didn't know what I was doing. But I was like, I'm going to get back on that horse.
Right.
So I got a job at Dave & Buster's. And, you know, I'm working, you know, with all the crew and everything. Like, wow, how did this happen? Like, how did... You know, literally a year ago, I was on national television in a designer gown and, you know, $100,000 of jewels, you know, being honored. And now I'm like scrubbing out, you know, the sink, you know, at Dave & Buster's full of syrup. So I was ready to quit. I was like, I love LA, but I can't do this. This is just too much on me.
Right.
So I got my first job, Battle Creek. And from that, I had started working like every other month. But, you know, going through a time like that, you're just scared that, you know, after this job, I'll be right back. So when I auditioned for this show, I really wanted to do a good job. And I wanted to book it. I wanted to nail it. I wanted to be proud of myself.
Right.
To go in, do the job, and even if I didn't get it, at least I know that I laid it all on the line. I didn't leave anything out.
Right.
And when I showed up, I was like, this is cute, because everybody was like a person of color.
Right.
And, you know, usually you get these auditions, and they're like, hey, we're open ethnicity, and then you show up and you the only one, you the only, and you like, what? But I thought y'all weren't serious.
Yeah.
But they were like some Asian chicks, some black chicks, a couple white chicks, you know, they had auditioned a lot of people for the part. So I thought, okay, well, I actually have a chance just being me.
Right.
Like, it's not a thing of like the look or whatever. I just have a chance. So I got a call. They want you to come back, you know, be a little more camera ready, you know, bump up the makeup to see if there's some versatility, because the part was like, she was undercover. So I had like sloppy ponytail and like tank top and like trying to like look like that chick. And I went in and I did it. And later on that day, it was like, you got it. You got the job.
What was it like when you found out?
Yes. Well, how'd you react?
It was like, wow, all of my hard work paid off. I mean, I was stunned for quite some time because, you know, the NCIS franchise, you know, it's a very popular franchise.
Right.
And, you know, a guarantee of a job on that show, a recur at the time, it was a recur, you know, I could be around for a while. So maybe I don't have to worry. And then when I got the deal, it was like, you know, there's a possibility that you could be upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, paid audition then, boo-boo, let's do this. So the first episode, you know, I'm running and scaling fences and stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it really well. And it was very surprising to the guys that I was so strong and athletic, because I'm tiny.
Right.
But, you know, I lift weights because, you know, of coming out here, and everybody's like, you got to be like this. So I'm like, I ain't doing that. I'll just be strong. I'm not going to be thin. I'll be strong. So they were like, well, okay, all right. This chick is serious about it. Like, she's about it. All right, cool. And just hearing from the producers how happy they were with my work, that made me really excited. And the day that they announced it, they actually announced it. They didn't call my people. It wasn't like that.
Wow.
It was like end of the last episode. I had just booked another series for PBS. So I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. But I'm still on the line for NCIS. I don't know. So they did picture wrap. So everybody came in, and I was like, oh, boy. I'm like, okay, they about to say goodbye. All right, cool. This is cute. So they all came in, and the producer was like, this is picture wrap and, you know, picture finish. And, you know, everybody clapped. And he was like, but it's not the end, because, you know, she's our new series regular for season 2.
Wow.
And I just like was so, I'm about to cry now just thinking about it. I felt so proud and so happy that I stuck it out. You know, I stayed in it. I stuck it out, and I got my reward, and it was
that
awesome.
perseverance. I love to hear those stories.
Yes.
Now, Shalita, I want to talk about Broadway, because you've been doing so many different things. You played Cassandra on Broadway. Tell us what Broadway's like compared to a series role in television.
So it's a lot harder work, but I think the major difference is that, like, for TV, we work 16-hour days, but at the end of the day, it's over.
Right.
On Broadway, you do 8 shows a week, and you do 8 shows a week.
Right.
You know, like, and every performance is that was the performance, you know? So Vanya and Sonia, Masha and Spike, Chris Durang is a teacher for the playwriting program at Juilliard. And when I was in high school, I read his stuff, and I used to think that everybody great was dead. So I was reading this guy's monologue. I was like, this is hilarious. So sad he's dead. I ain't never going to be able to meet this dude. So I got to Juilliard, and it was like, that's Chris Durang. And I'm like, what you doing alive? Like, what are you doing? That's crazy. So we, like, developed this relationship and, you know, mutual love. And then at the end, when I graduated, a couple months later, he called me and was like, hey, you know, can you read? He's very, you know, mild-mannered. Hey, do you mind coming and reading a first act of one of my plays? I want to get it produced, you know. I was like, yeah, sure, anything for you, Chris. So I did the one act of one play, and I did the one act of this play, and I was like, now what you want me to do with this? Because I have never seen this character in any of your work. And he was like, I don't know, figure it out. You have like an hour before we do it. I was like, wow. Are you kidding me? He was like, yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little time. And by little, it was literally a little time. to try to play with some stuff. So I was like, okay, well, she kind of reminds me of my great grandmother in Virginia. She's still alive. She's schizophrenic. She's hilarious though. So I was like, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of that.
Okay.
And a little bit of this little Greek tragedy.
Okay.
And see what happens. And he was like, that is very weird. And I like it. Like, that's very, very strange what you're doing. And we did the first act of the show, and my second monologue in the first act stopped the show. And it was just sort of like a, okay moment. Okay, which play are they going to produce? So they asked him to finish that. So he wrote the second act with me in mind. And we did these readings. And during these readings, he's like, oh, yeah, Sigourney Weaver. I actually wrote one of the characters for her, actually. And she wasn't able to do it the first time, but she's going to be here. And okay, all right, Sigourney. Okay.
Right.
So, you know, all of a sudden I'm working with Sigourney Weaver. And then we're going to do it. We're going to do the show. But before we went into production, I got a call saying that Lincoln Center wanted to be added on. So, okay, Lincoln Center, all right, cool. But they don't want you to do it.
What?
And I was like, why? And they were like, well, you know, for the New York premiere, they really want like as many, you know, names as they can get, you know, because that's the state of theater right now, is to make the money for the tickets.
Right.
You have to have an attraction.
Right.
So, you know, we had Sigourney Weaver on board. They ended up getting David Hyde Pierce.
Okay.
They got the soap guy. And then it was like, well, what are we going to do for her character? And they literally auditioned every person in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, I was doing a show in Boston, and a girl that I was doing the show with went down to New York to audition for the part.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
It's hard. It was hard.
Right.
And they auditioned every ethnicity. They even thought about auditioning a man.
Wow.
Anybody but me.
Wow.
So I get a call from Chris. Hey, it's not going well in the audition room. I hate to ask you to do this, but do you mind auditioning? Because they don't remember, you know, the reading. Okay, sure, I'll audition. So I went down, you know, swallowed my pride, and I walked out with my part. And that's the story of Bonnie and Sonia. And we rode that wave. We did McCarter, we did Lincoln Center, and then we had this meeting. Oh, you go to Broadway. We went to Broadway, and a month on Broadway, I got nominated for a Tony.
See, when something is yours, it's yours.
Yes. People have to remember that.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And it's funny to me when I hear, like, actors act like assholes when you're in a position like that. Like, yeah, that sucked. That hurt. Right. Because I had helped create this piece. It was my creativity, my imagination that it sparked his imagination, and you know, it was this whole, you know, love fest of creativity and art. And then when it comes down to the commerce side of it, it's like, no, you're not worth this. Right. Actually, you don't bring in the money, so no. But when I hear how people ruin their opportunities, I mean, I just think of all the ways that I could have ruined that for myself, you know, with my ego and my pride. You know, I would have been right to lash out, but, you know, you play the long game.
Right, yeah, what could
and
you
not
benefit
the short
from?
game.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I would have felt better at the time. But, you know, the long game is you ruin relationships. And that's what I've learned a lot of this business is who you know and your relationships, you know?
Right.
And then you ruin that, you got nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Now, from that's an amazing story, one. But from that, LA Times named you a standout character.
Yeah.
How did it feel when you saw that?
That was, I mean, all of the recognition, man, I swear, it is crazy. It's pretty wild having that, all of that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you had to pick between TV, film, or Broadway, what would you pick?
Do I have to?
You have to. You only get one.
Do I have to?
You only get one.
I would say television.
Why?
Just because I grew up on TV. You know, I grew up with the TV in the background. The TV was like another family member, you know? And I remember the people that touched me, you know, from television shows, like seeing them every week it's like you have your own relationship with them.
Right.
Like an example, I used to love The King of Queens. I thought that show was so stinking funny.
Right.
Victor Williams, who plays the UPS guy,
Right.
IPS, sorry,
IPS.
IPS,
Right.
IPS, get it right, IPS guy. We actually did the show in Boston together,
Okay.
and when I saw his face, I had all the feels, but I couldn't pinpoint where I knew him from.
Right,
But I
right.
was like, I know you. Like we have a real, and I was so convincing that he thought he knew me too. So we were sitting, like, oh, and he had his glasses on, his shades on, and we had met up outside walking to the theater, and I'm like, oh, do you play an instrument? Like, oh, did you do this? Did you do that? And then he took the shades off when we were doing the table read, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I don't know you. I don't fucking know you. And why you act like you know me too? 'Cause I'm crazy. It's like, I just love you because you on the show.
Right.
And I have a opening night card from him because I kept calling him Deacon. I kept calling him Deacon. I'd be like, Deacon. And I didn't even realize, because when I looked at his face, his name is Deacon.
Right,
I've
right.
only known that face as Deacon, for the longest period of time. And now you, Victor, I can't make that change
Right,
that
right.
fast. So a couple times I caught myself like, oh, did he hear me? Whatever. But he gave me you have been calling me Deacon. At the end, he was like, P.S. Stop calling me Deacon, girl.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love you. But yeah, like I would do television just to have that kind of response from other people.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Now, Shalita, I absolutely love your personality.
I
You
know,
are like
you're
full
so
of
cute.
life, humor.
you.
Where did you get this humor from? Is it your mom, your dad, someone in your family?
It's actually my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have the same very naughty sense of humor. This is a fucked up story. Just as an example
You started like that.
of his sense of humor. My name, Shalita. I asked my mom, I was younger, who named me? And she's like, oh yeah, Shalita, that's from your dad. That's your dad's name. Okay, it's weird though. Who's that name? So when I was 13, I asked him. It was like, yeah, so, you name me. Whose name is that? Like, where you get the name from? And he was like, well, you want the truth? I was like, yeah, I would prefer it.
Right.
He was like, well, I had a crush on a girl named Shalita when I was dating your mom. So,
Wow.
and he thought that was hilarious.
Right,
and I was like, that's so fucked up. And then I laughed afterward because we kind of have that same sense of humor. So
Yes.
that's my name.
Oh
That
my
is
goodness.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I love this. And so you've just done so well. You've been doing a lot of TV. Of course, the second season of NCIS New Orleans is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
What can we expect from your character from the second season versus what you were like for the first season?
So the first season, you meet Sonia, and she's pretty tough. She's that chick. She gets the job done.
Right.
For season 2, you get to see a little more where that comes from.
Okay. The backstory.
Yeah.
You get that, and then you get to see kind of the different sides. I actually did ADR earlier today for the show, and saw episode 2, saw some pieces of it, and it's actually really cool because we go from like episode 2 is kind of crazy.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I gotta stay vague because I want
Right,
to keep my
right.
job.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
want
want
you
you
to lose
telling
your
you
job.
everything.
Don't lose your job.
But yeah, it goes from like tough, and her relationship with LaSalle is more fleshed out. But yeah, her and LaSalle, get into some stuff, and then at the same time though, they're opening up, and it's like hilarious. Like there are a lot of like jokes in the second episode and stuff. I mean, it's really good, and I have a hard time watching myself. So if I'm watching it like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? And I did it, and it's me. It's good.
Right.
It's good.
Good.
It's good. I was like, dang, we did all that. I didn't know I looked like that. That's good. So
Right.
yeah, I think people are gonna love season 2 of NCIS New Orleans.
Have you done any scenes that you're like, oh goodness, my mom's gonna have to watch that?
Oh, have I, baby Jesus?
Even if it's not on this show, but on any show, have you ever done something that you're like, ooh?
Yeah. Yes, I have.
And then how did you deal with that when you told your parents?
I just was like, listen, this is what, I have that personality where I'm like, this is what I fucking did, okay? All right? It's over now. Like, what you want to do about it, And they're just used to me, like, being like that. So they're like, okay, whatever. Okay. Well, I don't want to watch it. And it's like, well, don't watch it then. Maybe it'll help us both,
Who gives you the toughest criticism out of your parents or friends, anyone?
Myself.
You give yourself the toughest.
Oh, if you heard some of the stuff I say to myself, you would be like, you need more friends. Like, this is sad.
So
this
rough
is really
on yourself.
sad. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the perfectionist in me that's like, you can always do better. Always do better. That wasn't good enough. And, make sure that this is better and, whatever. And it's also, going to a school that was so technical. I'm able to break down, bit by bit, which in a lot of ways gets in the way sometimes if you're doing that while you're working. But I actually do think it's good to go back and look at things to see if you can improve on it. I never want to feel like I'm set, I'm comfortable, I'm too neurotic for that, so I'm always pushing for better and more. Sometimes it's not good. But when it is good, I know that I'm in the sweet spot.
Right.
But I also know when I'm being abusive. When I'm like, you know what? I just need a break from me. Okay. Let me go watch something.
Right.
Let me go listen to something.
What do you watch, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh God.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Yeah. What do you binge watch?
Oh. Do we have to talk about it?
Yes, we do.
Because see, my guilty pleasure is real guilty though.
What is
it? It's like really. Really?
What is it?
You gotta
Come on,
tell
Shalita. What is it?
I love reality TV.
Which show?
Shows.
Okay.
Name
Okay,
your
I
top
told
two.
you this is bad. Okay?
Name your top two.
Now, I will, flip over some friggin' Real Housewives of anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Real Housewives of everywhere. I'm like, I cannot believe she said that. Real Housewives of New York is a part of my life. Ramona,
Right.
I say Remotional. I say it's season 4. This is sick. It's season 4. They went to the islands.
Right.
I think like Cayman Islands or something. And she was yelling at somebody. I think it was the chick Aviva with the leg thing. And she was like, take a Xanax. And when people are crazy, I'm like, take a Xanax. Like Ramona. Like it's a part of me.
You are Ramona.
It
Okay.
is crazy like that. And then I buy, what did I buy? Oh.
Wait, before you go on,
Braxton's.
would you consider reality TV?
No.
No.
No. No. It would ruin every relationship I have. Have you seen the news? Do you see these people?
Right.
It is ruining their lives.
Right.
Okay?
It's
Every
rough.
week, somebody getting divorced, somebody mama suing them for stuff that I didn't even know you could sue for, like grandmother visits. Where they do that at? Where do they do that at? But
Wow.
Kim Zolciak is fighting her mama. She got a book and people lose their minds. Hell no. No. Now I'm going to watch everybody else.
And their craziness.
And watch the follow-up. Oh, I watched the news on the real. I'm like, I can't believe Kim. She is having such a hard time. And damn, they getting a divorce. I was hoping. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing that for myself. I don't want to read some shit like, Shalita mama is crazy as hell. She fucking sued her and she ran her over with a beamer. I don't want to have any of that. Crazy shit like that happens all the time.
Right. True. Very true.
Braxton's, Trina's husband's dick is everywhere. You just look online, you see his dick. That is crazy as hell. I don't want to live my life like that.
No.
You just see dick everywhere and it's my husband.
Oh, no.
That's crazy. I don't want to see that.
Shalita,
but
are
I'll
you
watch
married?
it.
Are you married?
No, I'm not married.
Are you in a relationship?
You're in a relationship?
I keep the personal life personal.
Well, what do you look for in
qualities.
a significant other? What are some important qualities?
I love people who are smart. I dated a dumb person, and it was really hard. I mean, they weren't even cute, but they were just dumb, and it was a bad decision. I was in a bad place in my life, and I realized then you can't date dumb people. Stop dating dumb people. You got to date people that read, and that's the other thing. I don't have a TV in my house. I just buy the shows, you know. So I have some more control. But I have bookshelves on bookshelves of books.
Nice.
All I do when I'm not watching reality is I'm reading deep shit just to clean out the reality.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book would probably be East of Eden. It's John Steinbeck, right?
Yes.
And see, so because I had art school education,
Did you see the movie?
I didn't. I had art school education, so we didn't have to read the books that everybody else read. You know, we skipped a lot of that stuff. We stayed in like Shakespeare and stuff.
Right.
So it was after I graduated college, I was like, I need to go back and like read what most of America was told to read. Most people ain't read it, but I don't want to read it and know.
Right.
And East of Eden is a story that really touched me, and I actually think about the characters and the situation, you know, here and there in my life. After reading it, it's like, damn, that's really some deep shit. Like that sibling rivalry, that sort of coming from the same place, but having two different lives and having two different philosophies on life.
Right.
You know, and what that does to, you know, the relationships and everything. It's very good. Very good story.
Okay. So somebody who's smart.
Somebody who's
any
smart.
Other qualities?
Fit. You gotta be fit. You know, come to the gym. I don't want to roll over and you eating shit in bed. And I'm like, I'm going to spin. I'm cute. And you're like, go ahead, girl. And I get back in bed and everything's like moving his eyes. I used to date that, but I've upgraded. I've stopped dating dumb. Stop dating. Yep. You said it, not me. So yeah, don't be dumb. Don't be, you know, out of shape and stuff. And just have a good sense of humor. Because you can't roll with me if you're not we down the laugh.
You are hilarious.
Yeah. Thank you. Really, thank you. Really. But yeah, I like keeping things light, you know?
Right. Let's talk about Mercy Street. Okay. That's coming up in 2016? Mm-hmm. Yes. 2016. What's your role? Tell us about that.
So we actually just did ADR for this too today. The story.
And explain what ADR is. Some people don't know.
Oh, right. It's looping. It's when you didn't say something right, or the microphone won't right, or they want to add a line. You watch yourself on TV and you try to say the line with yourself, or like when your head turned and get the word in real fast like that. So it's like little voiceover work. But you get to see, you know, the scenes before it's been mixed and everything. Right. You get to see like the footage.
Right.
So Mercy Street takes place during the Civil War. It's a medical drama, however. And my character has manumitted herself. So we're in the second year of the Civil War, and my character set herself free. And came up to Alexandria, Virginia, and she stopped there because she's looking to get with her mother and her son. They've been separated. So she asked a man who worked at the hospital if he'd help her. The thing that I connected most to was I've always been afraid of like playing a slave, you know, because you wanna make sure that you're in a production that's responsible, right, and isn't, you know, using your story to validate something else. What was also scary about it is that I've been free my whole life, right? So it's like I don't know what that's like, and I want to make sure that I'm believable, you know, whatever, and I don't know what that means. So when I got the part, I was like, okay, all right, cool. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And the thing that made playing this so easy was letting go of the denial that I was actually in a different place than her. And here's what I mean by that. When Obama was elected, the next day, I remember walking from my dorm in Juilliard to the school, and I just felt like this weight had been lifted off myself. Like, wow. And I had no idea that I had felt any different. You know, I didn't realize it. And I had all this hope like, wow, like we got a black man as a president, I'm at Juilliard, like this is crazy, like my life, my generation, go us. And now seeing black and brown people being gunned down in the streets weekly, sometimes daily, it's like, wow, there is still so much work to be done.
Yes.
So in a sense, it's business as usual, right? So my character is in a similar situation. The country is in upheaval because of us.
Right.
Okay? Some people are saying we need to be set free to put us back together. Some people are saying, keep us enslaved to bring us back together. But we are center stage in the conversation nationally, which is the first time. So she set herself free and said, I'm going to live free now because this is the promise that we've been given, that we can do this. And so she asked this white man for goods for service. Can you get me some information? And in return, like I see all these other white people, I give money and you provide the service, right? He says, sure. And not only does he take her money, he takes her body.
Wow.
So she has this realization that it's just business as usual. And she's alone in this thing until, she meets McKinley Belcher's character, Samuel. But her freedom is tainted because she, has, her body has been taken from her yet again. And she's not with her child. And she doesn't know if she will get with her child.
Right.
So in a lot of ways, this part has been the easiest thing I've done. And it's really just letting go of the denial. It's looking at CNN and it's reading the blogs and it's watching those videos. And it's like, what I'm seeing right now is you could freeze it and put it back into 1860 or 1875 or 1910 or 1925 or 1936 or that image has lasted. We haven't gotten rid of it yet.
Right. Do you ever think, and I know there's some people that say, oh, racism is gone, and clearly we see that that's not the case because of the stuff and the stuff that's going on in our country. What do you think could be different in the future? Because it seems as though with stories like Mercy Street and things going on in the past that a lot of things are being repeated.
Yes.
What do you think could be done differently in the future? Or is it always going to be the same?
No, truthfully, I believe that the white community has to have a powwow within themselves, because asking the racism affects us. Racism is not it's not something that is perpetuated by us or that was started by us.
Right.
So you can't ask me how to fix something that's being done to me.
Right.
I can tell you my experience, and you can validate that by listening, by getting yourself educated, okay? And then looking at things soberly. How do I, as a white person, not add to white supremacist structures? How do I, when I look at media, for instance, we got black and brown faces. We in again, like the 90s. But in the 90s, it was sitcoms. Now we're doing dramas, right? So we're in comedies, we're in dramas. We got some people behind the scenes. We got people writing. We got women, whatever. But those numbers dwindle the higher up you get.
Right.
So the heads of our studios and the heads of networks still look the same. And then right under them, it still looks the same. So they have to take a look at how they are adding to the problem and not helping it. It's great to have some FaceTime, but the people who are making the decisions have to be responsible. And in order to be responsible, you have to understand how repetition happens.
Right.
How is this the same, and how is this helping keep things the same. And in order to do that, you have to get educated. So what I have done is I've aligned myself with the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond. That's the charity that I work with. What they do is undoing racism workshops, because they believe that racism is a thing that is done and can be undone. It's different than diversity training, which says like, oh yeah, we're all the same, you know, we got a lot of similarities, let's kumbaya, let's bounce out of this workshop, go back to our desks, and then the resentment broods again, because we haven't actually dealt with the real issues. So the People's Institute, it's a 3-day workshop. You go through it, and the people who have done it, it's changed their lives. They talk a lot about, you know, how people often cry or are angry, or, you know, because they're talking about things bold-faced. There is no, you know, racism in the rhetoric. There is no minority this, minority that. It's person of color. You know, they're dealing with things head on. And it's hard for a lot of white people, because for the most part, the white community does not think about whiteness. Because their whiteness is validated in everything they do. So it's not something they have to think about. From education, most white people have not had a person of color teach them a class, or have had a person of color as a principal. So now you're going up through a system where you're not used to looking at people of color as an authority figure. So that gives you all kinds of messages, you know? So that workshop fucks with the paradigm. And that's what has to happen on a national scale. We have to fuck with the paradigm, because the paradigm is the problem. And we all add, a racist isn't somebody with a Confederate flag and a pickup truck and they live in the South. A racist can be a kid with tight jeans with an iPhone in his pocket and a beard. You know? And not even know it. So that's the part that we have to deal with. How do you not know it? You got to get educated. So I love my charity. They're doing amazing work. They've been around for 36 years. They're a not-for-profit. What they do, though, is they provide these workshops for groups that can afford it. They pay for it. But they do these freedom schools for groups that can't afford it. So that's where the donations go to. It's making sure that the organizers and the teachers have, you know, airfare, because they're going all over the place. They're in Ferguson right now.
Awesome.
They're in New York City. They're in Texas. They've done amazing work with Texas on a state level. They revamped their child protective services curriculum. And the Governor Rick Perry signed it into law, which was amazing. Crazy. And the state has saved so much money by looking at the racist practices. Oh, if we change this affects us economically. And that's the other thing I don't think people understand about racism, you know, is the power and the money, how tied it is.
Definitely tied.
Girl, I'm over here like, you know what?
We have to have a side conversation.
Where can people find out more information about
all
your charity,
fans?
Your charity specifically?
So they just got on Twitter, cute, and they have their website, the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, and you can look them up and get in touch with them. And if you want to donate, that's amazing. They need it, and the country needs it. So do it.
And then where can your fans keep in touch with you?
Shalita Grant, at Shalita Grant on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect.
Yes. And before you get out of here, what's one thing you want to tell your fans? What's one thing you want them to know about you?
One thing I want them to know about me is that I'm a badass.
Shalita, thank you so much.
Yeah, they already knew that. Yeah, you knew that.
Well, I didn't know.
We can tell.
Where can we find you, Courtney?
You guys can keep in touch with me at Tezeno on Twitter and Instagram. Use that hashtag BHL next again to let us know what you thought about Miss Shalita. She is amazing.
Hilarious, yes. And you can find me, Megan Thomas, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and Periscope at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Don't forget to check out NCIS New Orleans this season. It starts September 22nd, every Tuesday, 9/8 Central. Until next time, guys. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagramming @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.